Hello students, hope you are doing well. So basically students, in this chapter, this is our third video lecture of this chapter which is called force and pressure. So in our previous video lecture we have seen two kinds of forces. We have discussed actually a few, you can say that few types of contact forces and few types of non-contact forces, and we have seen the forces with few examples, okay, and that things we have discussed in details in our previous video lecture. So if you have a confusion, so you can see the video lecture which is there in your YouTube classes, okay, or YouTube channel. Okay, now today we are going to start pressure. Okay, so pressure is a different quantity. We have learned about one term which is force. Now we are going to discuss in this chapter about, or in this portion of the chapter, about pressure. So what is pressure? Just have a look. This is the introduction part. That try to push a nail into a wooden plank by its head. Okay, if you just push a nail into a wooden plank, then what will happen? Okay, again push the nail by the pointed end. Okay, if this is our nail, so this is the, you can say, end part, head, tail part, this is the head part. Okay, this is the pointed part, this is the head part. So if I push the nail through the pointed part, then what will happen? It will go through it. But if we want to push through the head part, then what will happen? It will not be able to go into the wooden block. Okay, if this is our wooden block, you can say, and if this is the nail, okay, if this is the nail, if this is the, you can say, head part, and this is the tail part or pointed part. So we always towards the pointed part downward, like this. Okay, now we will discuss in this chapter that why we are doing this. Could you do this time? If it is opposite direction, now in this way, then can you if you push it by a hammer, if you beat it with a hammer, then what will happen? Will it be able to just overcome this hindrance or go inside the wooden block? Obviously not. This thing is not possible, but this is correct. Why? We are going to discuss this. Now try to cutting an apple with a blunt and sharp knife. Which is easier? So one is blunt knife and other is sharp knife. Okay. Now we are going to discuss this part. Just have a look. So basically these experiences shows that the area over which the force is applied plays an important role in making this task easier. Okay. So basically all the things here actually it is focused on a simple term which is called area. Okay. For example, if the knife has a sharp edge, then what will happen? The area of contact is small. So basically students, one very important line or very important term is that area of contact. Area of contact means what? If this is my, you can say, nail, if this is the iron nail, so if I want to push the iron nail like this, so you can see area of contact. That means this is the area and this is the contact. Okay, so area of contact means this area is in contact with this surface, okay, or with my palm. Okay, so this is my area of contact. So the thing is that area of contact should be small. Okay, but in case of blunt knife means first where area of contact will be larger or becomes larger. That is why it is easy to cut fruits and vegetables with a sharp knife. Okay, if you I think all of you have actually experienced this kind of things, that if the knife is sharp, we can easily cut an apple or vegetables. But if the knife is not sharp, it is blunt, then it is harder to cut the things. Okay, so basically the force acting on a unit area of a surface is called pressure. So what is the definition of pressure, students? That the force acting on a unit area, okay, force acting on an unit area of surface is called pressure. So pressure, we can write it like this: force per unit area. Okay, this is the expression of pressure. Pressure is equals to force per area. Okay, we are applying the force and we also measures the contact area. Okay, so force per unit area or force per area, by this expression we can derive the pressure. Now in this expression the area is denominator. Okay, area and denominator. Okay, the upper part we can call it as numerator and the lower part, sorry, we can call it as denominator. Okay, I have to write D here. Okay, upper part is numerator and lower part is called denominator. So the lower part, the more the lower part, the total force or pressure I am writing here P. So if the denominator is higher, then what will be? The total expression will be lower, and if the denominator is lower, then total expression will be higher. So to get a force or to get a pressure, to get a more pressure, we have to lower this term. That's why we have discussed in these all examples, area should be lower or area should be less. So the less area we are doing, the more force we are applying on it or more pressure we are applying on it. Okay. So in this expression, basically what will happen? The area should be low. Okay. Only in that case we will do the things. The area is the denominator, so the smaller of the area, the larger the pressure will be on the surface of the same force and vice versa. Okay. So this is the introduction part of pressure. What is pressure? What do you mean by pressure? Now let me tell you one thing, or let me tell you again, that the area of the pointed end of the nail is much smaller than that of the head. Now let me draw it again. Okay. Okay, sorry, not this part. Okay. Now tell me which area is, this is the area. Okay, this is the area. Now this area is much higher than this one. This area is very small, but this area is much larger. That's why we put our iron nail like this. Okay, this is the right thing, not this one. Okay, so I hope students you can understand this. Okay, now the same thing, same force in that case produces a pressure sufficient to push the pointed end of the nail into the wooden plank. Okay, now one thing is there, we have seen that pressure is equals to what? Force by area. Okay, F is denoted by force and here A represents the area. Okay, so pressure is equals to force by area. Now here force is same. Okay, force is, I can write it that force is same. Okay, force is same, but here area is lesser. If area is lesser, then your force will be larger, and if area is larger, then what will happen? Your force will be lesser. So this is actually not a direct relation. Okay, so I hope you can understand by this expression. Okay, so now it is clear to you that why we put the iron nail like this. We put the iron nail like this, that the pointed side should be downward. Okay, now just have a look. Electrostatic force, you have to find out the definition we have discussed in our last classes. Okay, gravitational force and pressure. Pressure we have just discussed. Now we are going to discuss the thing that pressure exerted by liquid. Very important thing. Okay, pressure exerted by liquids. Okay, how liquids exert their pressure. Now to understand this, we have to perform an activity which we call it activity 8.7. Just have a look. That take a transparent glass tube. Transparent means what, students? You have already read transparent means that through which it allows the light to pass through them so that we can see, okay, from outside. So we have taken here a transparent glass tube that is open both the ends. Okay, both the ends are open. You can see here the picture. Okay, these are the transparent glass, both the ends are open. The length of the tube should be about 15 centimeter and its diameter should be 5.5 to 7.5 centimeter. Okay, and you can say that a limit is given here. A size is there of its diameter and you can say length. Now tie a balloon to its lower end. Okay, so we have to tie a balloon to its lower end. You can see here, this is the balloon. Okay, this is the balloon. Now keeping it in the vertical position. Vertical position means like this. Okay, so you can see here, that someone is holding in vertical position. Now ask one of your friends to pour some water in the tube. So what will happen? Does the balloon bulge out? Okay, what will happen? Or what is the height of the water column in the tube? Okay, now if you pour more water, if you pour some more water in the tube, then is there any change in the bulge of the balloon? So what will happen, students, when you pour some amount of some amount of water, what will happen? The balloon will increase its size like this. Now if you pour more water, then what will happen? So what do we can conclude from this activity? Actually, the above activity shows that the liquid exerts pressure on the base of the container. Okay, this is the base of the container. Obviously, if this is the container, then this is the base. Okay, this is the base of the container. So liquids always exerts pressure on the base of the container in which they are kept. Okay, you will also see that the bulge increases. If we pour some more amount of water, this bulge will increase like this when the height of the water column is more. So this shows that the pressure exerted by water at the bottom of the container depends on the height, okay, of the container. You can see here the height is like this, and you can see here the bulge, it is very small size. Now we increase the height like this, so obviously the bulge will increase. Okay, you can see here it will increase like this. Okay, so this is our experiment. So from this experiment, students, what we can conclude? We can conclude that the pressure or the water pressure is directly proportional to its height. If we increase the height, then if we increase the water level, then water pressure will also increase. Okay, so very easy experiment, students. You can perform this activity at your home, no problem. The things are easily available. Now one more activity is there to perform the water pressure. Just have a look. Activity 8.8. Take a plastic bottle, fix a cylindrical glass tube a few centimeter long near its bottom. Okay. So what we are going to do? We just take a plastic bottle, fix a cylindrical glass tube. You can see here it is a cylindrical glass tube at the bottom. Okay. Now you can do so by slightly hitting one end of the glass tube and then quickly inserting it near the bottom of the bottle. So what we have to do, if this is our plastic glass tube, okay, so what we have to do, we have to heat that part. Okay, we have to heat that part, and whenever it is heated, then what we have to do, we have to push this in the bottle. Okay, then it will be easily inserted. Okay, now make sure that the water is not leaking from the joint. This is actually here a joint is there, so water should not be leaked through this joint. Okay, now cover the mouth of the glass tube with a balloon. What will happen if you cover the mouth of the glass tube through a balloon? You can see here the balloon. Okay, now fill the bottle up to half with water, and what do we observe? So students, if you perform this activity, then definitely you will observe that the balloon bulges out again. Okay, bulges out again. This shows that the liquid exerts pressure not only on the base of the container but also on the walls of the container. Very important activity, very important you can say conclusion that we are taking, that if this is a container and if waters are there everywhere, then it doesn't only exert pressure on the downward, it will exert pressure all the sides. Okay, so this conclusion we have made, that water exert pressure not only on the base but also of the walls of the container. Okay, very important thing. So two very important things we have seen through these activities. First one is that water exert pressure at the end of the container or bottom of the container, and second thing we have seen that not only the bottom, it will exert pressure, okay, at all the sides. Now same thing here, that take an empty plastic bottle, drill 4 holes all around the bottom of the bottle and make all the holes at the same height from the bottle. Now fill the bottle with water. What do we observe? So we have taken a bottle, we have you can say 3 or 4 holes are there, and you can say that up to this height we have poured some water in the bottle. So what will happen? You will observe that water coming out of the holes fall at the same distance. So this water will fall up to this distance, this water same, that means the distance should be same. but this shows that liquid exerts equal pressure at the same depth. Now, if you drill the holes at different heights, then you will find out that water at the lowest point will come out with great force and will be spouted out furthest of the bottle. Okay, that means if this water is there, one hole is there and one hole is there, so you will see that this water will come like this, but this water will goes like this. That means we have already discussed that water exert pressure at the bottom. Okay, so this reason, by this reason, that if the point is there at the lowest point, then it will exert the most pressure. Okay, and the water flow will be more. Okay, so by this activity, I hope students you will get an idea of water pressure. Now let me discuss one more thing, that pressure exerted by gases. So water pressure we have discussed. Now let us discuss the pressure exerted by gases. So what happened to the air in the bicycle tube when there is a puncture, or what happened when you just inflate a balloon, or when you open the mouth of an inflated balloon? So you will observe the air rushes out through the mouth of the balloon. This shows that air exerts pressure on the inner walls of an inflated balloon. So we can conclude that gases too exert pressure on the walls of the container. Very easy conclusion. Gases also, just like liquid, it will also exert pressure on the walls of the container. Okay. So very easy one. Now let us discuss this thing. Okay. This thing actually you can call it as atmospheric pressure. Okay. Now let us discuss this atmospheric pressure. So basically this is air all around the earth. Now this envelope of air is known as atmosphere. In geography or SST you have already read this. Now the atmosphere extends up to mainly kilometers above the surface of the earth, or the pressure exerted by this air is known as atmospheric pressure. So basically atmospheric pressure means what? The atmosphere exerts the pressure on us, so that pressure is called as atmospheric pressure. We have learnt that the pressure is force per unit area. For example, if we take a unit area and place a long cylinder standing filled with air on it, then the weight of the air in this cylinder is the atmospheric pressure. You can see here a rubber sucker is there and air pressures are there like this. Okay. So by this activity you can find out the air pressure. What you have to do? Take a rubber sucker, okay, press it hard on a smooth plane surface. Now try to pull off the surface. Are you able to pull it? Obviously not. If you pull up, you can say that air sucker like this, then we have to just apply a force to pull it down. This is because of the air pressure. This is nothing but the air pressure on it. Okay. Okay, so you will have a great difficulty in doing so. This is because we have already discussed, when you press the sucker, most of the air between its cup and surface escapes out, and the sucker sticks to the surface because of the atmospheric pressure acts on it. So if you want to pull the sucker off the surface, the applied force should be large enough to overcome the atmospheric pressure. Very important line. If you want to pull the sucker, then your applied force should be large enough to overcome the atmospheric pressure. Okay. Now have you ever wondered why don't we get crushed under high atmospheric pressure? This is because the pressure inside our bodies is also equal to the atmospheric pressure. Okay, and it cancels the pressure from outside. We have discussed that if two opposite sides of forces acts like this, then it will cancel out. So same thing here, the same pressure, that is if atmosphere is just giving the pressure on me, but the same pressure is giving from inside my body. So these two pressures will cancel out and we feel nothing. Okay. So this is our topic, students, force and pressure. Now what we have to do? You have to solve the question answers. Okay, we will definitely discuss the question answers on our Google Meet classes. Okay, so that's all, students, for today's video, and we have completed the chapter. So what you have to do? You have to read the chapter and try to correlate with your atmosphere and with your surroundings. Okay, so that's all, students, for this video. Thank you all.